Hello, Crafty Mavens. This is Megan, and I am back today with a Scraplift Saturday. So for this layout, I'm going to use my Citrus Twist kit from the month of May, which this is the first kit I've ever gotten from them, and so I was really excited to pull out my kit and start playing. And when I saw the mood board, I fell in love with the blues and the greens. And I had this blue, it's kind of like a medium blue color of paper from the kit, and I immediately knew I was going to use that as my background. Then I also had this kind of limeish green textured paper cardstock, and then also all of these pattern papers. So here I pulled out the pattern papers, and I'm going to try to figure out which one I want to use over there on the left-hand side. So I'm going to be sticking pretty close to the Scraplift, the layout that I chose to Scraplift. And what I decided to do is use this exclusive paper. I believe Citrus Twist made that because it says Citrus Twist kits on it. And then I'm just going to cut off a little piece of it on the left-hand side there, and I'm going to glue it down. But before I do that, I pull out my Shimmers Texture Paint, and it's in gold, and I am going to use that. I recently just got this in a haul this week, and so I was so excited to pull it out immediately and use it. So here I'm just putting a little bit down on the top and the bottom of the layout, and I absolutely love this texture paste. I'm so excited that I got it. It's amazing. You need to get some right now. And that's all I have to say about that. So here I'm just cleaning off my palette knife and cleaning up my desk. Okay, so now what I am doing is I am just using my Stampin' Up! Heat gun to dry the texture paste, and I'm doing it on the front and then the back, hoping that it won't buckle quite so much because my background paper was blue and I wanted to keep that color. I didn't want to put any gesso behind the paper. So I've noticed that if you heat the front and then also the back, it doesn't buckle quite so much. Okay, now here is where I decide to put the background aside so that it can dry a little bit more on its own. I'm going to cut down my photos, and then I'm going to start backing them on some of the pattern paper. I really liked this one from the Fancy Free collection, but then I'm thinking, well, I think I need to mat it on a white piece of paper, and then it'll stand out, the photo will stand out even more against that blue. So here I'm just going to pull some white cardstock from my stash, and I'm just going to cut that down at a very, very short, like just a tiny, tiny border, not too much of a border at all. Okay, so here I just cut down the bottom a little too much, so I just pulled up the photo and put it back more towards the top, and then here I'm going to mat it onto this blue. It's like a navy blue, but then it also has some stripes of lighter blue on it, and I really liked that. I did not glue it perfectly straight on there though, because I kind of liked the idea of having it be a little teeny tiny bit crooked. I don't know if you can even tell, but I just thought, oh well. And then with that orange chevron-y striped paper, I kind of cut it crooked on there, and so it just kind of all worked out. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not going to try to pull it off and fix it anymore. Oops, I apologize about that. So here I'm going to start just putting things down on my mat because I went over to my background and touched it, and it totally was not dry at all. So I kind of smudged it. You can't really tell because of the type of stencil that I used, but I didn't want to smudge it anymore. So I'm going to let it dry for a little while longer. Okay, so this is where I cut off that extra border strip that I'm going to put on the right side, and then I'm going to use this pattern, this dark navy blue pattern, on the right side in that little cluster. And in the Scraplift layout, there isn't a second photo, but I had these two photos and I wanted to put them on the same layout. So instead of doing just a cluster without photos down there, I decided to put that small photo down in the bottom right hand corner and do a little cluster down there. So here I'm just opening up a couple of the ephemera packs that I got in the kit. With the kit, I ordered the main kit as well as the Project Life add-on or something, I think like that. And the Project Life add-on kit had this Becky Higgins Currently, I think it was called Currently, ephemera. And so I'm just pulling out a couple different pieces from there, and I'm going to end up using those as my embellishments. So here I'm deciding, okay, I need to have a couple different areas next to the photos for embellishing clusters. And then I'm going to use this Fancy Pants Atwell alphabet for my title, and it's just going to be called Cool Dude with an exclamation mark. And I'm going to put it right there on top of that bottom photo. I do feel like there's just a bit of empty space right next to the photo, so I'm going to pull a couple different ephemera pieces out, and then finally I settle on this one little banner tag that says Today on it, and that's going to just take up that empty spot right there next to the title. Okay, so now I am going to dry my mixed media background a little bit more because it wasn't quite done yet, but I really wanted to start finishing this scrapbook layout. So that's going to take just a little bit more time of me drying it with my my heat gun. So if you guys are here, make sure, sorry, I can't talk. Make sure you head on over and watch. I think Felicia is also up today, and she has a scrapbooking challenge or a scrap lift challenge that she is doing as well. So make sure that you go and find her layout also. And if you'd like to come and check out our Facebook group, come on over. You can find us under the Crafty Maven Destination, or Crafty Maven Getaway Destination group is what it's called. And I will have links to all of that below, to the Facebook group, to Instagram, and all of that fun social media stuff. Okay, so now my background is finally ready, and I am ready and excited to finish this layout. I really, really love how this layout turned out. I kept it very, very simple. I'm just gluing down the papers, and that branding strip that I'm gluing down is actually the branding strip from that piece of paper that I'm using. So that was kind of exciting. All I had to do was just turn it over and it worked out perfectly. So that was really fun. So here I'm just gluing down the bordering strips, branding strips on this right side of the page, and then I'm going to glue down the photo. And right about this point, I am missing my Tombow stamp runner adhesive. I need to go get some new refill, and I actually just placed an order with Tombow, and I don't know why I didn't order it from them. That was kind of silly of me, but I think I'm just going to run to Hobby Lobby and go get some more. And here is where I am using some of this bright green thread. I just pulled out my little bobbin holder. I used to be a seamstress. I don't do a whole lot of sewing anymore, but I do have a ton of bobbins that have thread on them still. So I figured if I just pulled it out, found the right green, and then just kind of wound it around and stuck it under a couple of the places, then that would look kind of cool. I was channeling my inner Missy to get the effect that I wanted. And I got the inspiration for this from the inspiration piece because of the spools of thread that you can see at the top of the inspiration piece. I just thought that was a really cool image, and it made me think and try to figure out how I could incorporate the mood board into my layout besides just color-wise, and I figured, hey, that's thread, so I could totally just use thread on my layout. So that's what I'm doing. So here I put the thread underneath the photo on the bottom right hand side, and then also I'm going to put it right under the title right there that I just glued down, and I really like how that looks. So now I'm going to cut off another piece and I'm going to put that away. And for this piece, I'm going to put it in the bottom right-hand corner, or not right-hand, left-hand corner of that photo and just underneath there. Here I'm cutting up the tag that I'm going to use. I was thinking about using it as a date stamp and maybe a little bit of journaling, but I'm going to end up not using it as a date stamp area. So here I'm gluing down the photo. And then let's see, I think I'm going to pull out some more thread. Yep, there I pull out some more thread because I kind of felt like it needed to be up in that top right-hand corner as well. So I just kind of stick it under the photo there and don't really like it. So I pull it all the way out, and here I'm going to mess with it. I don't know how Missy does it. She just like magically makes it look amazing. And I never feel like mine looks amazing. But I'm actually really happy with how this whole layout turned out. So now let's see, I think I'm going to pull out some more embellishment pieces. I got another pack of embellishments because I believe I got the embellishment kit as well, which is another add-on that you can get. And so I'm going to pull out some cork pieces and some wood veneer from that little kit as well. So I'm gluing down this acetate heart down there on the bottom. And let's see, I think actually I decided to pull out a stamp, a rotary stamp. I think it's my Dear Lizzie one, maybe. Yeah, I think that is my Dear Lizzie one. And I just kind of flipped through them, and I was talking to a friend through my Voxer app. I don't know if you guys have heard of Voxer, but it's an amazing app, and I love it. I was talking to a friend, and so I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I kept scrolling because I wasn't really looking at the sayings that were on there. And then finally I was like, oh crap, I'm filming. I need to actually pick one. So that's why I just kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So the one that I decided to go with says, "You are awesome." And I just stamped it twice. Once with the full black ink, and then the second time it was just to stamp it off the rest of the way. Okay, so this is where I pull out these wood veneer and cork pieces. So I'm thinking that I'm going to use one of these arrows. I'm not really sure which one I want to use. And then it also has these plus signs or X's, however you want to use them. And I was thinking, oh, those would look so cool. I could do like a bunch of just little scattered X's everywhere. But then I remembered that I had hearts in both of the places on the layout. So right above that little circle next to the title, it has a heart, and then up there by that tag on the top left-hand photo, it also had a heart. So I was like, well, maybe I should just stick with the heart theme. So this kit also came with some cork hearts. So I'm going to pull out a bunch of these cork hearts, and I'm just going to place them in these 3 different areas on the layout. And I'm going to glue them down with my Tombow Aqua Glue, which you can see to the right there that is standing on my desk. And I kind of fiddle with these a little bit. Sometimes they just kind of work out immediately where you want to put them, and sometimes it doesn't work out immediately. So I'm just going to start here gluing all of them down, and my glue is getting short. Apparently I just need to get on Tombow's website again and make a bigger order, because I don't know why I didn't just place a bigger order in the first place. Sometimes we just do things without thinking, right? But I do need to go and order some more glue. Okay, so let's see. So I get all of those glued down. Oh, I'm still gluing. I thought I had finished gluing. It does take a little bit because of my glue being almost gone. And then I'm going to use my glue Zots, which I also need some more of these. I'm going to use those to glue down the wood veneer. And I really like using those on the wood veneer. I've noticed that with the cork pieces, they aren't as good about keeping, or like I can't ever get the zots to glue onto the cork to keep it down. I have a hard time getting them off of the backing. Okay, so now I have all those hearts down. Let's see, what else am I going to do? Oh, I had this little real life wood veneer that I'm going to put down up there at the top. And I think that is pretty much the end of it. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do journaling or not. I'm thinking if I do, I'm going to put it to the right-hand side of that top photo. I just don't have a whole lot to say about this layout because it's part of a huge grouping of photos that we took all at once. So I feel like if you just have the layout and no journaling, I feel like it'll be okay because there'll be journaling enough on the other pages. This is actually not one of my kids. This is my nephew. And so I might just put something about how fun and cool he was and how it was so fun to spend time with him. And I'll probably just put it a little bit to the right underneath that cluster of hearts. So thank you so much for watching, you guys. I will talk to you a bit later this month. I believe I'm going to be on again next week. So I will see you then. Have a great weekend. Bye.